Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Phil Grandy is a career businessman who has also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with a prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You hear me talk about 401ks every day on my radio show. Why? Because it's such a disservice. 89 million Americans have a 401k. There's 638,000 plans. And the father of the 401k, Ted Brenner, even admitted they're a scam. He doesn't endorse them anymore because of the ridiculous fees. You got to get away from those fees. Remember, every 1% fee, they take 30% of your retirement money. The average fund is 2.5%. 60% of the money is going to be gone when you're ready to retire. You don't need to do that. There's an alternative. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Seek out the alternative. Give yourself a break. philsgang.com. Sign up today.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? You know, reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, and prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you will be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que St. Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. they pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. We're a teaching format, and boy, do we give good service. You know, buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated, so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated, but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
I need to open with a very critical breaking news announcement. The FBI has just sent a letter to Congress informing them that they have discovered new emails pertaining to the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's investigation.
Unbelievable. Finally, you know, I think they're just getting a lot of heat. Welcome to Phil's Gang, coast to coast around the country off the Wall Street Radio Network. Yeah, I think they're getting a lot of heat. And they're getting embarrassed. They're getting embarrassed. I mean, it's just, think of what happened. The corruption is incredible. And it fits into my commentary for the day. Do you know it's amazing? 55% of the people who went to meet with Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of Corruption, Secretary of Kickbacks, gave to her foundation $116 million in return for favors. A good example is Haiti. As Secretary of State, after the big hurricane in Haiti, it was up to her. She was in charge of rebuilding and getting aid to Haiti. She would decide who'd rebuild it, who'd get the contracts. Now, we know, and we've learned through the WikiLeaks emails, she and Bill set up a list called Friend of Bill's List. In return for receiving a contract, the person receiving that contract, their friend, agreed to donate money back to the Clinton Foundation. $66 million in all. These are really called kickbacks. Kickbacks. And then what happened is the foundation would take that tax-free money and funnel it back to the Clintons. So they had to pay no taxes. No taxes on it, no income tax. Now think about this. The Clintons, these parasites, these cockroaches, made money off the death of 116,000 Haitians, many of them children. But they used those children in ads, paper, print, videos, online. They used these children to break your heart, to send money. Yeah, to send money. It's unbelievable. But here's the problem. There was no grand jury investigation, no probe, no prosecution on this kickback crime. Now, do you remember this? They will not prosecute. Remember when the FBI said they will not prosecute?
What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear. We are expressing to justice our view that no charges are appropriate in this case.
No outside influence. No outside influence. Especially on the emails, the email investigation. Now remember, they never did any investigation on the kickbacks. We're talking now about the emails, which they just decided now they're going to open up another investigation. So he said, quote, no outside influence was brought to bear in this case, I can assure you. Well, Director Comey of the FBI wasn't lying. He was being truthful. There was no outside influence because there was humongous inside influence. So he didn't lie. His own deputy, that's right, his own deputy, second in charge of the FBI, received $700,000 for his wife's Democratic Senate race from an insider and fellow Democrat, Hillary Clinton, by the way of another insider, Democrat governor and lifelong friend of the Clintons, Governor Terry McCullough. His PAC, he had all kinds of PAC money. So Clinton asked the governor to take that PAC money, give it to the FBI agent who was in charge of her case for his wife's Senate race. So Comey was right. There was no outside influence. It was all inside. His own deputy. How clever did they word that? Then at the same time that they came out with the announcement, or before they came out with the announcement rather, another insider, Podesta, Hillary's campaign manager, went to dinner, a candlelight dinner, with the Department of Justice head, Loretta Lynch. They had dinner, a little candlelight dinner, wine, the whole deal, yucked it up. Then a few days later, now remember, this is while Hillary Clinton was under the FBI investigation. A few days later, insider Lynch, head of the Department of Justice, met with another insider, Bill Clinton, on her private jet. Yeah, just happened to be on the same runway at the same time. They met before the decision was made if the FBI was going to give evidence to the Department of Justice and was she going to prosecute. So they're right, there's no insider. But what did the insider Lynch get out of this? What was the deal that she got? I mean, she wasn't an outsider, she was an insider. What did she get out of the deal? We know the FBI, the deputy, he got $700,000 for his wife, and he was overseeing the investigation. He was the supervisor. But what did Lynch get out of it? Well, some say she's going to be appointed to the Supreme Court. She's going to be one of the justices. Others say she's going to get an appointment, going to be reappointed to the Department of Justice. Have you seen anything like this? I mean, how do you describe this? I think Newt Gingrich describes it the best.
This is the kind of stuff that in a place like Venezuela you would understand because they don't have the rule of law. But what we're seeing right now, and WikiLeaks in this sense, is ripping the scar off of the largest amount of corruption in American history. This beats any prior corruption scandal I know of, including the 1868, the period where Grant was president, including the Harding administration, I mean, including some of the things that happened under Truman. None of those things are like this. This is the largest scandal affecting a senior American politician, I think, in the history of the United States. In the end, I don't think the majority of American people are going to put somebody who is a liar and a crook in the White House. I have enough faith in the American people.
Who are the vice presidential candidates?
Republican nominee Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton.
We'll start with the Republican.
Sarah Palin.
Who did America defeat in the Revolutionary War?
The French, right? Russia.
Who won the Civil War?
Asia. Is it the Soviet Union?
And Newt says he don't think she's going to get elected because he has faith in the American people. Are you kidding me? She's going to get elected. And that's why. People are more, ask those same people who won the World Series 20 years ago and who pitched. They know who it would be. We'll be right back after this break. Take a look at some stocks, try to make some money here on Phil's Gang, 15 past the hour.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You hear me talk about 401ks every day on my radio show. Why? Because it's such a disservice. 89 million Americans have a 401k. There's 638,000 plans. And the father of the 401k, Ted Brenner, even admitted they're a scam. He doesn't endorse them anymore because of the ridiculous fees. You got to get away from those fees. Remember, every 1% fee, they take 30% of your retirement money. The average fund is 2.5%. 60% of the money is going to be gone when you're ready to retire. You don't need to do that. There's an alternative. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Seek out the alternative. Give yourself a break. philsgang.com. Sign up today.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who's also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine for the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with a prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passionate desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, there's nothing worse than you're investing in a stock and during the day something happens and you don't know what to do. You don't know who to call. Or you call somebody and they just give you a bunch of BS. Not here at Phil's Gang. We value every gang member. During the day, you got a question about your stock, you contact us. We have the best service in the world. philsgang.com. You're not alone. You're a gang member.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, most people get involved with a 401k because of the employer match. They really believe that there's free money. There's no free money. It's a scam. Here's how it works. You ever notice that you can't get the money all at once? Why not? Why don't they just give you the match all at once? Why over 6 years? Because they know only 12% of the people who work for a company stay for 6 years or more. Only 12% are there for 6 years. That's why they plugged it to 6 years. They know you're not going to stay. So it's not for your benefit. It's for the benefit of the company. It's a scam. There's an alternative, though. Phil's Gang. Join my gang. philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to 160 with 2% fee? It drops to 123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. You're listening to The Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grandy. Be sure to check out the all-new Phil's Gang website at philsgang.com. The Phil's Gang Stock Corner is brought to you by the MaxVest 1000 Stock Charts.
That's right, the stock charts. Nothing like charts. Because with charts, all you have to do is follow the money. Follow the money of the largest banks, the largest 401k, mutual fund, the managers, I should say. The managers of 401k, the managers of the pension fund. You just follow them. When money goes in, the stock goes up. But the beautiful thing, you're going to get out in time if it's going to go down. You don't get that kind of benefit when you're using a broker, an advisor, because their job is to keep you in. Did you know that? Most people don't understand that. Do you ever try to get out of a stock or out of a position? They always try to sell you something else, or they try to keep you in. They tell you the cost average down. Ever notice that? It's one of the biggest scams because they make money on the size of the account that they manage. If they're managing a $10 million account, the last thing they want customers doing is leaving because they get paid on the $10 million. They get paid on the amount of money when they send out their brokers to golf with you and befriend you and bring money in. That's what they get paid on. There is no connection to performance. Isn't that ridiculous? This is the only business that you don't have to perform to get paid. It's the only product that the customer doesn't know what it's going to cost. You think about this. It's crazy, isn't it? It's the only product. When you buy your 401k, you have no idea what you're paying for. You have no idea. And you have no idea the hidden costs. But we have 80 million people in 401ks. And ridiculous. It makes no sense. Today we got some news. The economy's really doing good. Hey, just look at the stock market. Doing good. Really doing good. Good. A lot of good stuff going on today. Really. Well, guess what? The United States consumer confidence crashes to a 2-year low. Business investment. What have I been talking about for months? Business investment, which is what drives the GDP, which drives your economy, what drives wages, what drives jobs. Remember, GDP, most people don't even understand what GDP is, but that is, they take all the goods. Okay, they take all the goods and they add up all finished goods that the manufacturers finish, all finished goods that they're ready to ship, and they add up all the value. And let's say 1 month it's $1 million. Then the next month, let's say the GDP is 2%. Next month it's $1.5 million. Then it's 2.5%. Next month it's $3 million. And then that means the economy's growing. That means that's how you know the economy's growing. But how you know is from the durable goods. There's a headline today. The story of durable goods is the story of global economy, which means the global economy is collapsing. That's the story of durable goods. Any durable good is I talked about yesterday. This lasts more than 3 years. Autos, appliances, equipment that you buy for a factory. 21 straight quarters in the hole going down the toilet. So business investment, They came out today, said it dropped to the lowest since September 2010. That's because the CEOs are not plowing their money back into their companies. They're plowing money back into the companies to buy the shares to push the stock up. And when the stock goes up, they tell you, look at the stock market, look how good it is. Boy, we're a good economy. You better elect Hillary. So we don't change anything. Keep everything the same, so we got this great economy. Another headline today, slumping used car prices. I told you that. Who told you that? I've been telling you that. The car prices, they've been pumped up. The car sales have been pumped up and propped up because they give anybody a loan. So slumping used car prices spell disaster for subprime auto securitizations. That's right. Now, I told you that. Matter of fact, I gave to my gang specific stocks of companies that hold the paper on auto cars, to buy all the paper. I think those are going to be terrific investments. I think those are going to collapse. Another headline, bank reserves continue to decline. I told you how that works. They lie every quarter, the banks. The banks come out with their numbers, and they say, oh, we made $10 million. No, they didn't. They made $1 million. How'd they get to 10 then? Because they have set aside for the reserve. So let's say they got $20 million set aside for reserve. So every quarter, what they've been doing is they steal from the set aside. The government has made it. The accounting laws have made it. If they only have a $1 million profit for the quarter, they want to boost it up to 10. So the CEOs get a big bonus. They just deduct from the set aside the $20 million. They take 10 million of that, and they just deduct it from the reserve set aside for bad loans, and they just move it right down to the bottom line. The bottom line goes from $1 million up to $11 million. Then they get their big bonuses. Now what's happening is these reserves are declining because that's what they've been doing. They keep stealing from the reserves. And the banks are in deep trouble. In deep trouble. So when I read these headlines, I just say, I don't get it. Boy, they've been duping people. And then today, for the third quarter, they call it GDP for the third quarter came out today. Now, we expected, it was going to be pretty bad. But we expected it was going to be better than the previous GDP because we're in an election cycle. In election cycles, they puff up numbers. And they always puff up the GDP, and they did. Now, how did they get the number up to 2.9%? When the second quarter is 1.4 and the first quarter was 0.8%. So how'd they go from 0.8%, then the next quarter 1.4% to 2.9? To get that number up, the government bought a lot of stuff. They bought a lot of stuff, a lot of finished products. So when they went out and they measured the difference in finished products between the second quarter and the third quarter, oh, gee, look at this. Up 2.9. Wow. Yet, the average is 1.4 for the year. How pathetic. Isn't that something? In fact, GDP for the last 4 quarters is really 1.5%. The last 8 quarters, 1.8%. The past 8 years, we have not hit an annual GDP of 3%. Obama's the only president on record of all past 43 presidents that he's the only one that couldn't hit 3%. Oh, but keep Hillary in here. We got to keep her. Things are so good. Hey, we'll be right back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Do you invest in a 401k or an IRA? Did you know you could lose 30, 40, even 50% of your investments when the market crashes? Isn't it time you take control of your investments? For over 15 years, philsgang.com's Phil Grandy has been teaching, coaching, and investing right along with all Phil's Gang members, making profits when the market is up or down. philsgang.com posts daily market updates, has a live investing class, and all material is archived. Sounds too good to be true, right? So why not join thousands of satisfied Phil's Gang customers today? Go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264. Do you invest in a 401k or an IRA? Did you know you could lose 30, 40, even 50% of your investments when the market crashes? Isn't it time you take control of your investments? For over 15 years, Phil'sGang.com's Phil Grandy has been teaching, coaching, and investing right along with all Phil's Gang members, making profits when the market is up or down. Phil'sGang.com posts daily market updates, has a live investing class, and all material is archived. Sounds too good to be true, right? So why not join thousands of satisfied Phil's Gang customers today? Go to Phil'sGang.com. That's Phil'sGang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, Phil'sGang.com. It's always about fees. That's right. It's always about fees. When you're investing in anything, it's about fees, but especially 401ks. Let me explain to you how you get screwed with a 401k. Nobody will tell you this. You'll be told with a $25,000 investment, your 401k will return 7%, and over 30 years, you'll retire with a nest egg of $226,000 with a fee of 0.5%. That is a lie. Do you know if you just bump it from 0.5% to 1.5%, that $226,000 drops to $160? With 2% fee, it drops to $123. But you know what most fees are? 3%. So you're going to drop almost below $100,000. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and get rid of that 401k. It is not for your benefit.
Isn't it time you reduce your fear of investing? Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? You know, reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, and prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you will be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. We're a teaching format, and boy, do we give good service. You know, buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated, so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated, but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back. Are you a fan of the Phil's Gang radio show? Then you should check out philsgang.com or give them a call, 877-600-4264.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Here's my number, 877-600-GANG, 877-600-GANG. Remember, sign up for your free MV2 chart, your color-coded technology chart. It tells you when to get out of a stock. Give you a great example. On June 29th, we had Home Depot It was falling. It was red. Then it turned green. That meant all the institutions started to come in. They all started to come in. The institutions started to pour their money in. And it turned green right there. Perfect. And then on the way up, now you didn't have to know anything about Home Depot. Then all of a sudden it turned red. So it told you when to get out. Isn't that beautiful? You didn't have to know anything about it. You didn't have to have your broker call. Your broker's not going to call you and tell you when to get out. That's the last thing he wants to do because he gets paid on the size of the account he manages, not on the profits he makes for you in that account. So that's why they never tell you to get out. I designed this product, this color-coded technology that tells you when to get out, when to get in. So it went up. That went up about 100. That went up about, I think it was about 10%. Went up about 10%. So you got a 10%. You knew you were going to get out in time. Nobody had to tell you. You mean to tell me that's not worth $29.95? Are you kidding? And then it turned red. But here's the more exciting thing. It turned red from about $136. She dropped right down to where it turned green again. And you gained 6% by selling it short. You made 6% while the market went down, while the Home Depot went down. You made 10% going up. You made 6% going down. Now, even if you didn't want to make money going down, wouldn't it be wonderful to have a product that tells you when to get out? And if you think this is just a gimmick, I'm going to give it to you free for 4 weeks. Now, or you can listen to people like this.
You like Sony?
Well, there's a lot of companies in the global, but you have a company with 1.3 billion shares. The stock is selling at $32. That's a $40 billion market cap. When you take out their financial services, not they're going to sell it, which they should do. They'd have no debt, some cash. But when you think of artificial intelligence, robots, sensors for the Apple, sensors for the car, that electronics business is...
God, all you got to do is put your chart up. And it's red. It turned red. Look at it. It turned red. If you're on the mobile device, or my show's archived if you want to see it tonight. But look at it. Turned from green to red. He's telling you to buy it. Are you nuts?
Price points at Restoration Hardware are pretty decent when you're looking at high-end furniture. I wouldn't be surprised if Williams-Sonoma would go ahead and buy them and add them as the higher end to the Pottery Barn. Shipping furniture is expensive. That's why Wayfair has zero business, zero future. Go try to send a couch. Go try to return your couch. Tell me how that works out. Restoration Hardware has good stores. They have a nice product.
So you're short Wayfair.
They have good stores, nice product, cheap to ship. Who cares if it's cheap to ship a couch? Who cares? I'm going to invest. Listen to this dope. Listen to this educated nincompoop. I'm going to buy this stock today. Are you nuts? You want to see something? You don't have to believe a thing I say, but believe this. Go on your mobile device. Here, I'll put it in and show you what this idiot's telling you to do. This guy turned red, and it dropped from $39 to where it is today down to $29. It's red. Look. So it's dropping 25%. It means the institution are pulling their cash out. They're pulling their cash out. It's going down. It's tanking, and he tells you to buy it. You know why he tells you to buy it? Because he's in it, and he wants to make sure it stops going down. Now, this will be a great opportunity for a gang member who has the MV2 color-coded technology, because when it turns green, he will buy it on the way back up. It's that simple. I know it sounds so simple. Every day I come out here, and it drives me nuts. I know just you in your car. Throw that cigarette out. Just you, that smoke's killing me. Throw the cigarette out. I'm telling you, nobody else listening, I'm just telling you alone, that this works. Try it. It's free for 4 weeks. But yes, you got to join the gang, $39.95. Well, why don't you just give it to me free? Because you're probably not qualified. You see, that's why I always say, I never open, people who have open houses on Sunday, what are you, nuts? What are you, nuts? The people that come through your open house, 99.99999%, they're not even qualified. They're looking for decorating ideas, or they're just plain nosy. Ever notice that with the open houses? I love the ones you have an open house and you think you got a hot buyer, and the wife's there, and you say, "Oh, where's your husband?" "Oh, he's outside with the kids." "Well, that's a hot prospect. Wow, he's out with the kids." Or how about the one you're selling your house on your own, and a person comes in, and they're looking around, and they go, Well, I got to ask my brother-in-law. He's a contractor. I want to come over and take a look at it. Whoa, you got a hot one there too. Waste of time. So I only want a few good people. That's all. Who are serious. I'm going to spend my time. I'm going to make sure you make money. I'm going to do everything under my power to show you how to use this chart. It's so easy. Your kids can use it. Do you know what red looks like? Do you know what green looks like? We could get a farm boy from Vermont who has no teeth and show them, for God's sakes, that it works. Just unbelievable. You know, they are going. I know you people want Hillary Clinton. You don't want Trump. I understand that. Now. You don't want change. You want Trump. Do you know what's going to happen with this health care? Do you have any idea? First of all, do you know what's going to happen to you when you go to? Let's say you're ready, with taxes going up. You're going to get so screwed when she gets in. Let's say a one-earner couple retires. Let's say 2020. Okay. And let's say they earn $22,500. And they would have paid in about $129,000 of Social Security taxes. Now, they would expect to receive a lifetime of $309,000. All right, but now let's see what they do to the small business person, to the person who is middle class. So let's take a same person, middle class, who makes $118,000, and he retires. He's paid in $1,358,000. You know what he'll get back in benefits? $1 million. 75% of what they paid in. Everything is always towards the low end. Everything's always towards the high end. The elitists, the cockroaches, make all the elitists very, very wealthy, and they take care of all the low-wage people, all the poor people, but the middle-class guy gets screwed. And that's the problem. I will never, ever accept a single-payer healthcare system. A single-payer healthcare. We'll never accept that. You want to know why? Because we have a different culture than Europe. America's culture. Now, first of all, let me say this. People want single family. They think they want single payment health care. Oh, it sounds fantastic. Never have to pay a dentist anymore. No more payments. No more deductibles. No more writing premium checks. Oh, you got it made. What a health care system. Everything's free for everybody in the country. And people go, oh, that's great. Really? Really? But it's not, because you're going to get the tax. You're going to get killed with taxes. Look, here's what people don't understand. We are not Europe. You notice how they always point to Europe? Oh, we want the same health care as Europe. We want the same health care as Europe. Wait a minute. We have a different culture. Europe was based on a different culture than ours. American culture was built on the premise, no matter how poor or how humble your birth, you can make it with hard work and sacrifice and true grit, and you can become prosperous. Unlike the class-divided Europe culture, going back forever, going back to the knights, going back to medieval times, their culture never would provide a social mobility, and people accepted that. There's no social mobility. The kings in his court ran everything. And if you were born poor, you accepted it. And we'll talk more about that when we get back, and why the single payer will just blow this country up. Get ready for it. We'll be back with some more stocks too.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You hear me talk about 401ks every day on my radio show. Why? Because it's such a disservice. 89 million Americans have a 401k. There's 638,000 plans. And the father of the 401k, Ted Brenner, even admitted they're a scam. He doesn't endorse them anymore because of the ridiculous fees. You got to get away from those fees. Remember, every 1% fee They take 30% of your retirement money. The average fund is 2.5%. 60% of the money is going to be gone when you're ready to retire. You don't need to do that. There's an alternative. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Seek out the alternative. Give yourself a break. philsgang.com. Sign up today.
Find out more at philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. We're a teaching format, and boy, do we give good service. You know, buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated is so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated, but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
Do you invest in a 401k or an IRA? Did you know you could lose 30, 40, even 50% of your investments when the market crashes? It's time you take control of your investments. For over 15 years, philsgang.com's Phil Grandy has been teaching, coaching, and investing right along with all Phil's Gang members, making profits when the market is up or down. philsgang.com posts daily market updates, has a live investing class, and all material is archived. Sounds too good to be true? Why not join thousands of satisfied Phil's Gang customers today? Go to philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264.
For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
philsgang.com. As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
To many, the stock market is shrouded in mystery. When do I buy? What is the stop loss? Should I invest on earnings? Is it time to sell? At Phil's Gang, we want to clear the investing fog for you. We want to make you an educated, confident investor and ultimately a profitable investor. For over 15 years, Phil Grandy and the Phil's Gang team have been dedicated to teaching, guiding, and answering your investment questions. And with our new Phil's Gang website and customer support messaging system, we are available when you need us to answer your questions. philsgang.com can be accessed from your home, office, or any location where internet is available. Plus, you never miss a beat because all material is archived. From beginner to seasoned investor, Phil Grandy has been helping thousands of people learn about the stock market and producing smart investing strategies. Whether you're preparing for retirement or looking to secure your financial future, learn, invest, and profit with Phil's Gang. That's philsgang.com. For more information, call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Money, 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 can you use?
Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264.
What would you say about Trump supporters? I read stories on the front page of the New York Times, which is a paper I love and respect and read every day.
Joe Scarborough reads the New York Times he loves and respects. A liberal, socialist, communist newspaper. And he tries to buffalo everybody that he's a Republican. Are you kidding me? He's the biggest phony. Listen to this.
Say, Willie, we've been, I mean, if you follow the media, if you follow certainly journalists on Twitter, this race is over.
Oh, sure, it's over, sure. Yeah, try to suppress the vote, why don't you? It's unbelievable.
You know, I think somebody pointed out that on Morning Joe, they spent 13 minutes attacking the Clintons this morning. Now that's unheard of. That's a breakdown in elite media discipline that is hard to imagine.
There is no quick fix.
There's no good answer.
There is no good
Bill
answer.
Clinton Inc.
Bill Clinton, the Washington Post article is absolutely fascinating. $66 million to him personally. They're and they're bragging.
Do you think they're hiring?
Eddie, they're bragging.
$66 million.
I can't believe he went after Clinton. What's going on? Oh, my God. He must have found God. Unbelievable. Hey, talking about God, let's talk about Obama, okay? He has such a big ego, it's incredible, and that's what got this country into trouble. You know that? That's what because every president, their first goal when they become president, their priority is to grow the economy, the GDP. Because when you grow the economy, your priority is to grow jobs. That was not his priority. His problem is he wanted to make sure that he could get a health care system through that the Hillary and Bill failed at. That was all there was in mind. He's going to show Hillary and Bill up. And by doing that, he did not do what was most important, was to create jobs, and that's why we're in trouble. It was all about his ego. But remember, it was designed to fail so he could get single payer. People got to realize that. And that's their goal. That's their goal. Now, when you see the love fest between Hillary and Michelle Obama, what a bunch of phony. They hate each other. But they're tied together now. The deal is Hillary needs Obama to make sure the FBI and the Department of Justice doesn't prosecute her. And Obama needs Hillary to make sure they don't get rid of Obamacare and make sure he puts it into a single payer program. That's what they're all looking at. This is a big phony deal, you know, Michelle and Hillary. The big deal right now is that single payer. They want that to be put through. Matter of fact, let's take a look at a stock, UNH. It's one of the stocks that will be affected by this, UNH. And it's amazing. Again, all you have to do, UNH, and I'll do it right now. We had the stock. It was going up. It turned from red to green. It was at $139. So you bought it, and then it went up to about $143 when it turned red. So you got a little 3% move in the stock. Now you say, well, that's not much. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the value, not the 3%. The value you knew when to get out. Because it turned red and it dropped from $143 down to $132. It dropped 7%. So you saved that loss. That's the key. That's the key. Is it turning red for you? And please let me give you this for free. Call 877-600-GANG. 877-600-GANG. Steve will talk to you right now. Alex will talk to you. You're not talking somewhere in the Philippines or China or somewhere. No, this is right here in Sarasota, Florida, right in my office. And they'll help you, okay? And it's free. So check it out, all right? I mean, it works. But I want to get back to it. I don't have much time now. I got to get back to this Obama thing, what's going on. This universal health care, single payer, is so bad. See, Hillary wants to build upon the Unaffordable Health Care Act. It's so important. Because she's saying, oh, it's going to be too difficult to start from fresh. No. The reason she doesn't want it repealed and doesn't want to start fresh is because there'd be too much opposition when they got rid of it. By keeping it and said they're going to change it, they're going to say they had no choice. There was no alternative but to put it in a single-payer system. And the single-payer, I know, it seems like a utopia. Everybody says, oh, this would be terrific. Never again do I have to pay health care insurance. It doesn't work. The taxes that we're going to pay, you're going to pay so much more taxes than you ever going to get from health care. And don't look at Europe. I said earlier, please don't look at Europe. Everybody looks at Europe. Oh, well, Europe's done it. No, they didn't do it. Europe, their culture, their class, they are a class system. They had their kings in their court. And the poor accepted. There was no mobile movement to the upside for them. Their life, when they were poor and they were born poor, they knew that was it. And they accepted it. And they'd be working for the king in the court, and they'd be taxed heavy. But in return of all these heavy taxes to keep his army going, the king's army going, And not only keep the king's army going, so he go out and conquer more land to get more wealthy, so he can have more subservience working for him. But the poor, it was a class society. They just accepted it. And the biggest thing they got in those days was health care. Yes, going back to those days, the health care. The king took care of all the health care. The king took care of most of their food, anything they needed. They had to grow crops. And they taxed the hell out of them, but they had a health care system. So all through the decades, it was in them. They understood that. They didn't change anything. The culture provided no social mobility, and they accepted it. It's that simple. A class divided Europe. They accepted it. People came over from their debt jails. Remember the debt jails they had? And they sent people over here to start a new country called America. But these Americans, they didn't want, when they started over here, remember, we had a revolt. We wanted to get rid of the class system. We wanted to get rid of the king in the court. We won. See, Americans, they don't want universal health care. They don't want socialized medicine, the single payer concept. They don't want any of that. Why? Because they believe that everybody has a chance to become successful with hard work and sacrifice. So why should I pay for the health care of those who don't want it, who don't want to work, who don't want to achieve? Why do I have to give them a handout when they don't want a handout? And see, that's where the Democrats come in. The liberal Democrats come in. Oh, no, that's bad. What an awful attitude you have. Oh, that's a terrible attitude. That you think that, hey, this country was built on the idea that there was upward mobility as long as you're willing to work hard. You could be prosperous as long as you worked hard and you sacrificed. What about those people who didn't want to? What about those people who just didn't want to work? You people should take care of them. See, that's a hard thing to get across. You try to get that across to people in this country. We never experienced classes. We never experienced. See, our great-great-grandfather didn't work for the king in the court. So they accepted that. So they never changed the culture in Europe. They always had health care. Here, you got to convince people that you are going to work hard. You're going to sacrifice for people who don't want to work hard. Now, what about the people that want to work hard but they're not healthy enough? They can't prosper. We'll take care of them. This is the most generous country in the world. Remember, the single-payer healthcare system is a way for them, these socialists, these liberals like Bernie Sanders and Obama and the rest of them, to spread their socialism in all aspects of our lives, taking away our guns and everything else. Crazy. So you're going to elect Hillary, you're electing a single-payer system. Medicare for all. You know what that's going to cost? $14 trillion in new taxes. Are you kidding? The federal government's going to grow by 50% when you elect Hillary. Your withholding tax is immediately going to go up 7%. Oh. Join my gang right now, 877-600-GANG. At least take care of some of those new expenses by making money in stocks. Okay, you just got to know, is it green or is it red? It's that simple. Call now, 877-600-GANG, if you know what green and red is. You're qualified.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.